Beep, 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 beep. And welcome to Nightmare Arch's movie review. This is basically me talking about a movie that you guys send me, and I basically review the movie that you guys send for me as a request. The movie can be old, it can be recent, it can be not too long ago, it can be ancient, it can be black and white, it can be comedy to a horror to a thriller to a sex to a drama to a no pornos, please. But let's get started. RuneScape name, that one guy, XD. I guess XD was like a smiley face for you. He wants me to review the movie The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, there are many Texas Chainsaw Massacres, and this person didn't really, signify as what Texas Chainsaw Massacre he wanted me to basically review. There's the first original Texas Chainsaw Massacre that was made in 1974. The second one was made in 86. Third was 1990. Fourth was 94. And then you have the remake of the first one in 2003. Then, of course, you have The Beginning, which was the prequel to the very first one, made in 2006. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it that this motherfucker wants me to review the very first original one. And since I have my Leatherface mask from me being Leatherface for Halloween, I think like 7 years ago, I would like to review the first one. This movie, like I said before, was made in 1974. That is actually pretty ancient. That is way before my time. I wasn't even in my mother's womb. I don't even think my mother was talking about me or was saying, hey, we need to have sex so we can have Christopher, or Nightmare rather. This movie was directed by Tobe Hooper. He basically did a few other Texas Chainsaw Massacres, and he did a whole bunch of other horror movies. Type of movie, well obviously this movie is a horror, and it is a thriller. Once again, that's a horror with an H, not a W, you naughty little perverts out there. Famous actors. This is actually kind of funny. There are no fucking famous actors in this movie. The only famous actors that is in... wobbly fuck. Sorry. Camera almost fell over. That would be really bad, since I only have one camcorder. As I was saying, there's only really one famous, well actually two famous actors, and they were in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4, which was made in 1994. It was Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey was actually in the fourth one. But as for the very first one, what made it such a good movie was basically that there weren't any high-paid actors, just low-budget shit that was going on. Alright, now the plot of the movie is basically very... 5 people basically go to like a cabin or a shit house basically for the summer down in Texas. And basically, to sum it all up, 2 of them decides to go looking for this pool because they want to have some kinky, hooba, naughty time. So basically, they stumble upon this house. And like dumbasses, they go in the house, and this is what basically happens. They get picked off one by one until this one girl is basically left, and then they end up torturing, the 3... Well, in the first one, it was just Leatherface and 2 other family members, and they basically, were torturing this girl throughout the whole movie. So basically, a horror-type movie, thriller-type movie. Now, my movie rating for this movie. I give this movie 4 stars, and this is my reason for giving this. I love horror movies. Once again, with an H. Naughty perverts. Horror movies are my favorite type of movie. I love horror movies. My first rated R movie was a horror movie, but this is the reason why I give it 4 stars. Is basically, I wasn't allowed to see this movie until I reached a certain age, and I would fight with my parents all the fucking time, basically saying, why the fuck can't I see this movie? What is so bad about this movie? And it haunted my brain, because I wanted to see what was in this fucking movie. I mean, that's just how it was. Curiosity basically makes you want to do. Finally, when I reached a certain age and I broke down my parents and they let me see this movie, I really wasn't that shocked at seeing this movie. It wasn't really that shocking as some of the other movies I had seen. I saw my first rated R movie when I was 5½, and it was Silver Bullet, and it was a double feature of Sometimes They Come Back by Stephen King. Awesome movies. Then when I was like 7 and 8, I saw all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, all the Halloween movies, all the Friday the 13th movies, Hellraiser movies. How fucking graphic is Hellraiser? People were being ripped off by chains. Then I wasn't allowed to see this movie until I turned 10. And when I saw this movie, I once again really said, this movie really isn't that graphic, and this movie really wasn't that bad. But because of the fact that it was made in 74 and there wasn't really this type of a movie, this movie was considered an X-rated movie, and it really was a graphic movie for that time frame, 1974. And not least, what would I have done if I was in this situation? Well, Nightmare RH really can't give you an honest answer because, okay, 1, I don't go traveling by traveling cross country. Mainly, I just don't. 2, if there's a motherfucking house that I don't go into strange places. More or less go in there alone or unequipped with a weapon, like you know, I don't have anything on me. Yeah, so that's basically it. And 3 is basically the same as 2. I really can't put myself in this position. But if I was being chased by some guy with a goddamn chainsaw, you know, I mean, if you watch this movie, the girl is being chased, and she's being chased in a forest, right? And she's running around in fucking circles as he's chasing her with a chainsaw. And when you run around in circles, you know, it's not that bad because, you know, you have a chainsaw. But one thing that a chainsaw doesn't really work well against is rocks. And one of the advantages you actually have are rocks. So, you know, I mean, you can, as you're running away, you can always pick up a rock and maybe toss it behind you as he's getting trapped in the trees. Like, there was one part in this movie when he was trapped in the trees because vines were everywhere, so he decided to just cut down the whole fucking tree. He's chasing after this chick, and he's sawing down a goddamn tree in a process, like a timberland or a lumberjack. But please subscribe for future videos, and leave your nasty little comments if you have any. Also, leave me more movies to review. It can be recent, it can be new, it can be whatever. It doesn't matter. It can be in theaters, it can be just out of theaters, but it cannot be upcoming movies. It has to be, you know, produced or in theaters. Otherwise, this, you know, boink. So, make sure you guys do that. Otherwise, have a good, well, I'm not even going to say have a good weekend, because if you watch this video 2 months from now, you could be watching this video on a Wednesday. Fuck! Thanks for watching the show. Hope you guys come back for more. There will always be more as people are making movies and video games. Of course, doop doop.